Good morning and welcome back to the Clyde Walkway for part 3, Bothwell to Mauldslie. So this is probably my least favourite section of the entire Clyde Walkway. From Bothwell to Strathclyde Park, you're on the road essentially, crossing the Reveille interchange, so it's not very exciting, so forgive me if I put this part in hyperlapse just to get it over with. So the route today is about 10 miles and takes me through Strathclyde Park, Motherwell, DL Estate, the Barons Haugh, Garrion Bridge and then finally Mauldslie. So this is Strathclyde Park, or as we know it locally, Strathy. It's very popular with walkers, runners, cyclists, dog walkers, plus also, as you can see, rowers. This is home to a couple of rowing clubs, obviously Strathclyde Park Rowing Club itself, plus also I think the universities use it as well. It was constructed back in the early 70s and has been used for 2 Commonwealth Games, most recently the 2014, which obviously had the rowing competition and also the triathlon. So in the Water Sports Centre you have toilets, changing rooms, a cafe, plus there's also the Heron coffee pod, which is good for takeaway teas and coffees. So at the Water Sports Centre I popped in for a coffee, bumped into an old school friend, so sat and chatted to her for 20-30 minutes, and by the time I came out the cloud has burned off. So it's a beautiful morning. I think there's some more cloud forecast later, so but we'll enjoy the sun while it's out. So as you can tell from the colour on the leaves on the trees behind me, it's been several weeks since I finished part 2 of the Clyde Walkway. The main reason being I was doing the West Highland Way, and then Sean and I were on holiday for a week. And then it was straight back to work, that pesky 4-letter word that we all love. But anyway, so here we are. I say it looks like I've picked a really good day to show you this bit of the walkway in all of its autumnal glory. So you'll see the path splits here. If you were to keep going on straight, that'll take you into DL Estate. Lovely woodland walks in there as well, lovely Japanese gardens, so it doesn't take too long, so if you've got time, you can add that on and then meet up with the walkway, which is here, just a mile or so further on. So welcome to Barons Haugh. This is a thriving community nature reserve in Motherwell, and you can spend as long as you like looking at the lovely birds. I see you have lots of ducks, swans, and also if you go through the woods you might see the odd woodpecker. I've certainly heard them, but I've never seen them before here. And also they stay to keep your eye out for some kingfishers and also otters. And so I've walked here many times, but I've never ever seen an otter, but you never know, today might be my lucky day. So luckily our house is very near to here, so I popped home just to have a quick bite to eat and to get the dogs to bring them out for a walk. And sadly, in the meantime, the cloud just rolled back in again. Oh well, never mind, it was nice while it lasted. So I'm now leaving DL Estate in Barons Haugh, and the walkway now goes on to some farmland. Again, just the Clyde just meanders on past nicely. So this is a very familiar part of the walkway to me, because I bring the dogs on here quite a lot to walk. So yeah, this is one of our favourite parts. So just a warning about this part, as you can see it is quite boggy down there. Let me zoom in a bit. Yeah, so this area is prone to flooding and wet weather. It's not actually uncommon for the Clyde, which obviously you can just see over there, to come up to this level. I have seen it where it's been almost impassable because the water's so high, so just take care of this part. So this part alongside the river in summertime tends to attract the young people who like to have a drink, peace and quiet. So if you've got your dog with you, just be wary of any bottles and cans that they've no doubt left lying at their backsides. So I'm just coming closer to this farm now. There's usually some sheep or cattle in this field most of the year, so I'll get the dogs on a lead just to be safe. So when you get to this point, you'll have a choice. If you go through that gate just where Obie's sitting, the path sticks to the river the whole way. Don't worry, you won't go wrong because it brings you out just where this path meets, so you won't get lost. If you go through this way, you go through the farm, just the road turns to the left and then goes up through the trees. But I say, don't worry, you can't go wrong. You'll meet up at the end. So this is Cambusnethan Priory, which was built back in 1820 for the Lockhart family. They owned huge amounts of land in and around this area. So the priory over the years has had several uses. Back in the 60s it was rented out to an architectural firm. It's also been a hotel and a restaurant, and probably the coolest fact I could find out about it was in the 1980s it was used as a medieval banqueting hall. Unfortunately I couldn't find any photographs. That would have been really cool to see. Sadly it was destroyed by fire at some point in the 80s and it's been left to go to ruin ever since. But there are also rumours that it's haunted. So after the priory, the road starts to bend up the hill and you're taking the path to the right. So we just had to negotiate our way past that cow who's escaped from the field. That could have got a bit hairy. Luckily we just managed to sneak behind that bush that it's currently sniffing, and it didn't bother its backside. So, whew, right, onward, let's go boys. This has to be one of my most favourite views in the whole of the Clyde Walkway. I think I must have so many photographs of this in my camera roll to different times of the year, different seasons, and it's so nice to see it in autumn with all the golds and ambers and reds of the leaves turning. So the woodlands around the Cambusnethan house, they're very popular with not just walkers but also horse riders and mountain bikers, as there's a lot of bike trails in these woods here. Lots of jumps and things as well. So if you're an adrenaline junkie, this is the place to be. So earlier on when I mentioned where the path splits, so if you take the path to the right and stick to the river, this is where it brings you out in the end. So when we get off the road, we're now in Mauldslie Woods. Again, a lovely nature trail here. You have a couple of choices. You can stick beside the water, or you can go up into the trees. Again, lots of mountain bike tracks here as well, so fun for everyone. So the last mile or so just before you get to Mauldslie is another of my favourites of the walkway. It's always really quiet and peaceful, beautiful scenery and woodlands, wildlife, just with the river just gently flowing on beside you. It's just gorgeous. So the Mauldslie estate dates back to the late 1790s, where a large castle was built for the family who owned the land. This is the original lodge, where I can only assume the 1790 version of a security guard would maybe stay. That expression of if your name's not down you're not getting in springs to mind, because also they would have to have crossed this bridge to get to the private lands of the castle. So sadly the castle's no longer there. That was demolished back in the 1930s. Looking at Google Maps, I think the old original stables are still there, but they've been converted into private houses. So that's me just back to the car. It's been a really good 10 miles today. That's my first big walk since the West Highland Way, so it's good to get that one under my belt. So join me next time when I'll be picking up from here and heading up to the finish in New Lanark. Thanks so much for watching. See you again soon.